Hello. Me and my extraordinarily large hair have something we'd like to share with you today. Oh, it's chilly in here. Just moving my desk in. Let's see if anyone is around to join me live, and then we'll get into it. Oh, it's so cold in this office. I should have brought a scarf with me. It's cold and I'm not wearing a bra, so I'm slightly nervous that at some point we're just going to get a bit of this action. So let's see what we can do. I'll do the live stream like this. Not that I'm sure any of you would be offended if you've got a cheeky little bit of nip. Fucking hell. And we're off. I was just on Instagram and there's this lady that to be honest, I don't even know what her handle is, otherwise I would share it with you. This is how new I am to following her. I just saw something she posted via someone else. Okay, so someone else I know, can't even remember who, posted something that she had done. I thought it was funny, or somehow it landed with me, and I went over and I followed her profile, and I've since then just been kind of flicking through on the stories and whatnot, and you know, she's shown up and I've started to not like, I didn't go and check her profile or anything like that, but just like if it comes up on my feed, then I'll have a little look and I'll always kind of give it a like, because you know, I like to share the love. And today she was on my stories and she was talking about astrology, and there was just something about her energy, and I was like, oh, I wonder if she, like, what her coaching or what her packages look like to work with her over a period of time. Because my mastermind that I'm a part of is coming to an end, you know, by the end of May. So I'm in that phase of like, oh, I wonder what's going to be next for me. And I'm just kind of like putting my feelers out and seeing what people are up to and who I might like to go and work with or be supported by for the next phase of the journey. So I was looking on her Instagram and I thought, oh, I wonder what this woman's packages are like, or what her coaching packages look like, or whatever. So I went onto her bio, clicked on her link tree, and there's like one-to-one offering, one like a one-off session, and then another type of one-off session, and then like some kind of freebies and some other kind of smaller group offerings and things. And I was like, hang on a minute. I really wanted to work with this person at a higher level. I wanted to kind of have this person support over a period of time. And it just dawned on me, like, this is a belief I've had in the past that, like, why would people want to work with me for longer than one session, or people won't pay me for more than that, or whatever. And I looked at that and I was like, I wonder if she realizes that she's just missed out on like potentially like a 5-figure sum of money, you know, because that's kind of what I expect to pay for my offering, is like multiple 5 figures is what I usually end up paying for my mentoring these days. And I thought, I wonder if she realizes. And this didn't come from a place of judgment. It was really just like an interesting moment of reflection for me to look at that and be like, oh, there have been so many times where I have not put an offering out into the world or whatever, or second guessed myself because I've thought, maybe people don't want to work with me for that long. Maybe people won't be willing to pay me as much as I know that offering would be worth. So I should just create this instead. And I thought, what a great reminder, not just for me, but that's why I'm sharing it with you guys as well, because I know that this can be a thing that comes up for people a lot. I mean, I've been doing this for fucking years. I've had things priced at all kinds of price points, you know, from like online offerings at £7. You can get, you know, a journaling ebook and an audio from me for £7 from my Member Vault site, up to my current one-to-one offering, which is 5,000 for a month, you know. So I've priced myself in various places throughout my time online, and even at the moment I have things that are at various price points. But there was definitely, and I still sometimes get that little doubt monster of, why would anybody want to work with me for that long? Or why would anybody want that much of my energy and focus and attention when they could be paying like someone who's got like 1 million followers or whatever, right? But it's so interesting because today I went on and I looked at this lady's profile and I thought, oh, I wonder what her one-to-one coaching looks like. I went to her profile and there wasn't what I was looking for. And it just was really interesting to me to have that reflected back to me. And it was like a real nice reminder that something like the Catalyst Immersion, which feels really good to me because it's like a short-term commitment from me and from you. It's a month. It's like a fucking coaching intensive and a clearing intensive for 1 month. You get a lot of access to me in that time. That feels really good to me. Like that, for a manifesting generator, that's like the dream. So when I remember that, this is something that is exciting for me. And if a coach that I really liked, or an energy worker, or, you know, whatever you want to call me, had an offering like this and I really wanted to work with them, if they had that on offer, I would be like, fuck yeah, that sounds amazing for my little Manny Gen life. I just want to work with someone for a short space of time, really catalyze shit and just go, you know, that's what I would want to receive. And so that's what I've created. And it was just really interesting to me when I went onto that lady's profile and she didn't have like a higher level one-to-one offering. And maybe it's just because she doesn't want to work in that way, which is, you know, totally fucking fine, of course. But it was just like, it was a great opportunity for me to see myself reflected back to me and see like, oh, where am I not allowing people to actually have the experience with me that they want to have? Where am I not offering something more that people might actually really like be waiting for me to create? And I'm like letting all the stories of, oh, well, you know, why would people want to work with me, or they don't want to pay me, or blah, blah, blah. Like all of those kind of old stories that still show up every time I fucking up level, you know, there's like a new thread of something that comes up. And it's just been really interesting to kind of reflect on that today. So I just wanted to share it with you, because if you're here and you're thinking that selling like a one-off session or not pricing your work, whether it's coaching, healing, artwork, whatever it is that you sell, if you're in the place of always questioning or looking at who is currently buying from you and what price point works for them, rather than looking at, but what is the offering that I'm creating here? What is aligned for me to create and put out into the world? And actually, like my perception was like my projection onto this person, because this is my shit, right, is like, oh, there's nobody in my audience who would want to work with me at that level and pay me that much money, so I'll just keep creating things that I know fit into what you guys have bought from me before and therefore will likely buy from me again. Okay, but that doesn't actually serve you. That doesn't serve you if I just keep creating the things that I think you want. It would be so much more exciting, I imagine, for people who actually want to work with me and want to buy from me and want to invest and want to come spend time in my kind of crazy curly world, right? It's going to be much more beneficial for you if I actually create what is really alive for me and what feels really exciting and juicy for me to create, hence the Catalyst Immersion. So what I find really exciting about this little realization that I had today when I looked at that lady's profile is just to remind you that when you don't allow yourself to create what you want to create, charge what you want to charge, and tell people that you're actually doing it. Like, don't forget to tell people that you're selling the thing that you're selling. That's like the number one thing. I'm like, you're not making any money. Okay, did you actually tell anyone what you've got for sale at the moment? And people are like, oh, well, I did a post about it a few days ago. And I'm like, and no one's bought it yet. Cool. So maybe write another post about it. And not from a place of like pushing and forcing and you must create more content, but from a place of like, if you're allowing yourself to not show up more because you're afraid that you'll like be too salesy or whatever, it's like, fuck's sake, you're doing a disservice to the people who actually want to work with you, actually want to buy from you. So this is my piece on that. And just a reminder to you, so just a short one today, but please create what you want to create. Please price where you feel aligned to price, and trust that I barely engage on this woman's stuff, right? Like I say, if I see one of her posts, I'll give it a like because I like to share the love, but I don't actively like follow this person. I just, like I'm not like going and checking her and like scroll like, what does she say today? But if her stuff's there, like it's just resonated with me. And so, when you look at this from an outside perspective, when I look at this, I'm like, oh, how do I buy? This is one of the pieces of advice that I give to you guys over and over again about selling is sell as you buy. So for me, I buy from people who I usually see creating regular content. I don't necessarily read it or listen to it all, but I kind of get an energy from them. And then at some point I just make a decision and the timing is right. And I'm like, boom, and I invest, including this mastermind that I'm currently coming to the end of. That's exactly how I signed up for this. And I imagine it's how I will sign up for my next mentor or program that I go into as well. But I very much trust my gut instinct to lead me to the person or the thing that I need to invest in. And so really, any stories that I have about, do I have a tan? Yes, so I think that it's just really fascinating to me to remember that the way that I buy is very spontaneous, it's very intuitive, it is not based on any kind of strategy, it is purely just from watching people, and then something energetically will click for me and I'm in. And when I look back over the people who've tended to invest at higher levels with me, many of them have been people, particularly like in the last round of the spiral and the catalyst immersion, things like that, like people who have either done like one little thing with me or have literally never done anything and maybe have read my book or have seen a Facebook live stream or have heard about me through somebody else, and then they've just happened upon some of my content and then they're like, oh, that's her, right, I'm going to invest. So any ideas that I have about what I need to do or a strategy that I should be following or the how, right, any of that stuff, if I start to get caught up in, but how did I attract that person who just paid me in full for that thing? How did I do that? If I try and pick that apart, that's coming from my open ajna center, and I could literally look at everything that I did in that period of time leading up to that sale, and I could tell you 100 different strategies that it looks like I employed. But actually, the thing that always works time and time again is just continuing to show up when I feel aligned to show up, sharing what I feel aligned to share, even if it's completely nothing to do with the offering that I'm selling. I will still show up and talk about the thing that is alive for me at that moment, because that's where my energy is. That's what my energy can get behind. So for me to try and shoehorn that energy or like channel it into something it doesn't want to go into, it just feels forced and stayed, and people won't hear it. It won't land for people in the same way as if I was just talking about something that naturally wants to come through me. So remember to sell the way that you buy. Remember that if you are like me and someone who tends to buy impulsively, buy intuitively, buy spontaneously, usually sometimes I followed somebody for a long time. Other times I've literally just followed them a couple of days before and I'm like, oh, they're doing this thing. Cool. Okay, well, that seems like it's a really aligned and synchronistic thing that's just happened. I followed them yesterday. They're offering this thing today. Boom, let's go. I trust myself and my intuition enough to do that. And if you are a person like that as well, and you're convincing yourself that you have to try harder, work harder, do more, have a strategy, remember, if you also trust yourself and buy spontaneously and buy intuitively, that those people who are coming to you are going to be the same. So actually, all you have to do is just keep showing up. That's it. And just detach from the need. If you have to make people buy from you or convince them, I said this before, but you are then going to have to, that energy is going to carry through the entire relationship. And I am certainly not available for that anymore and have not been for a long time. And I can tell when someone is like wanting to work with me, but then they're maybe not ready yet, or they think they want to work with me, but they're not really aligned. Like I can tell when we have that conversation in Messenger, like, I can tell pretty quick. And sometimes I'll have a bit of a back and forth with them. And other times I would just say like, when you're ready, let me know. Because it's not beneficial to me or to them or to anybody who actually does want to work with me for me to be spending all of my energy trying to convince someone to come and pay me. Like that doesn't work. It's really hard work when you end up working with that person. They become very draining. It is just not fun at all. Georgie, yes, that's you. Oh yes, with the like spontaneous, for sure. Emily, hey Gabriella. So yeah, that's what I wanted to come on and share with you today. It's just a reminder that you know, as much as we would love to have an ABC strategy around how business works and how magnetism works, the only thing that really works is following what lights you up and following what feels good for you, and remembering to lean into and challenge those limiting beliefs that you have around your pricing or that you have around how long somebody would want to work with you and things like that. I mean, there's no reason why you can't have a one-off session on sale at a certain price and then a longer, you know, group program or one-to-one program. There are no rules. It's really just about what feels really good for you, really aligned for you, juicy and alive, and you get to change your mind along the way if you want to realign details, as you've all seen me do many times, and it's never been detrimental to my income, like it's always worked. So just remember, frequency first. Nurture yourself first. And if you are feeling to come and join me in the Catalyst Immersion, it is 30 days from the day that you have your first session. You are in for 30 solid days. You have Telegram access to me to ask me all of the things. It was fun because I did my first Catalyst Immersion session on Monday this week. And when I told the person who was in the session, like, oh, you know, and then in the week, if I feel like there's something that needs clearing, I'll just record you a little video and send it to you and you can do it. And she was like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, you know, this is a fucking high level offering. This is, you have a witch in your pocket, you know? So yeah, we have the 4 one-to-one sessions where we do a fuck ton of clearing and coaching and whatever you need, but you've also got me in between. And if I can feel something needs to move, you know, I will always ask permission, obviously, to muscle test for you before I send you clears. But like, if I can feel something needs to move for you, which is of course one of my gifts, right? Like I feel what's going on for people. I'm like, oh, if I feel something is like needs to just move for you, I'm not going to make you wait until our next session. Like I'd rather just send you a little clearing, like rub here, you've got this emotion stuck here and this is the pattern that's connected to it. And, you know, I'd rather do that so that you can feel better and then move on with your week. And then we can do like even deeper work in our one-to-ones than make you wait. That's what this is about. It's about 30 days of literally being able to ask me the things, get support from me, be in my energy, have my boot up your ass. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for people who are really fucking ready to jump in and like, you know that next level's been waiting for you. You know that there's been something that you've been resisting for such a long time, and yet you're like kind of like nudging up against it, and you're like, I keep doing the tapping or the clearing or the journaling or the meditating or the fucking affirmations, and for some reason I can't seem to move this fucking boulder out of my way. Consider me your human stick of dynamite. I will come to your boulder and we're going to explode that motherfucker so that you can move forward with ease and grace, so that we can release the resistance and you can actually start enjoying the process of living your fucking life. So that's what this offering is about. And if you know that that is for you, do message me, because I am only taking a very, very small amount of people for this, because it is a huge energetic investment and time investment from me. So if that's for you, send me a message. I can't wait to work with you. I am so fucking excited about this. This is where I come alive, when someone has a specific thing and it's like, oh, I can just see where we need to go and what we need to pluck out and get rid of in order for you to just have it all. Because, well, why not? See you in my inbox. Bye.